continue to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Welcome to another episode of Talking Smart with Pugh, and I am McCart. Joe, you're shattered, mate. You're tired. You come off a train all the way from Birmingham. You've done the tube system through London. You finally got home. As soon as you come through the front door, you're on a call to me.
Well, I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, but you did help me put it in perspective. We can't complain about the job we do because we do love it. But I did just come back off the train from Birmingham. A fantastic Next Gen show. I think it was probably one of the best ones I've been to, and even seen on the telly. I think Eddie and Frank both said it was one of the best ones. I don't know if you saw it, mate, but there were some cracking fights on there.
No, listen, Eddie and Frank were right, man, because that is the type of show that I like, man. It was almost like 50-50. There was knockouts, good knockouts, solid knockouts, knockdowns, fight of the years, prospects coming through and whatnot. And that's what you like to see. Like, before we touch on Eddie, you know what? We'll start on Eddie's show then, since we're there and you were there last night, and then we'll touch on Frank's show on the Friday night from York Hall. For both of the Frank and Eddie, it was a chance to show some of the up and coming, maybe future stars of British boxing. And you know what? I like the card that Eddie put on last night. I really, really did. I like the look of Aaron Bowen. I think he's a very, very fan-friendly fighter. When he steps up to a guy that's going to come with a little bit more ambition, I think we're going to see he's going to be in fight. He reminds me of maybe a little bit of a Carl Froch type fighter, if that makes sense. He reminds me like that. Then you've got obviously Muhammad Ali, who's a silky fighter. I'm looking forward to watching him progress. You've got Sam Jones fighter in Khalil Majid. You've got Galal Yafai, who's obviously a future world champion in the making. And then obviously probably a fight of the year right now is Cyrus Patterson and Conor Walker last night. I mean, what an absolute war that was. And listen, I watched it on TV, but you were there in amongst it all, interviews and atmosphere. So, Joe, just break it down for me.
Yeah, first of all, from the Before the Bell, I want to mention Aaron Bowen because I think that body shot was phenomenal that he landed in the second round. I've been really impressed with his progression since he turned pro. I've covered every one of his fights, and really nice guy, a good team behind him. I think he's going to go far. Then the main card opened with the rematch between Jordan Flynn and Kane Baker, which was quite funny in the build-up. Jordan's definitely a character, but I think the whole of the crowd there was behind Kane Baker, a little bit of a hometown hero, usually the one doing the travelling, so it was nice to see him have a little bit of a homecoming. And it was a really good fight, really good. They picked up where they left off from their cracker of a first one. Ended up being a draw. Frank Smith spoke to me after. He thinks there'll be a trilogy fight there. I think Jordan really needs to come away with a satisfying win if he wants to put this kind of little mini feud to bed. And then we moved on to who was it next? It was too crazy for me last night.
Galal Yafai,
was it Soldakers?
Soldakers, yeah. Then
Soldakers. Soldakers. Good, solid rounds, really, really tough southpaw. But Cyrus Patterson, Conor Walker stole the night. That's why my mind's hazy, because everything just led to that. I was saying all week, don't sleep on Conor Walker. Conor Walker's a really, really tough fighter and a really lovely lad. Known him for a few years now. And he was so relaxed. As he got into the arena, just walking around like it was a normal day. You'd never know he was fighting in about an hour to 90 minutes' time. Walked past his changing room and there was just music. I thought there was a rave going on in there. And then comes to the ring, shock knockdown, and then they just go at it. Hell for leather. And Lewis Ritson was in the arena. They was going to announce Cyrus Patterson versus Lewis Ritson in the ring after the show. So that's clearly not happening now. I think there still will be a Matchroom show in the Northeast, I'm hearing. But I don't think Cyrus Patterson will be on that card. It's a tough loss to take that, and it'll be interesting to see where he come from that. But what did you think of Conor Walker's performance against Cyrus Patterson, Andy?
Brilliant, and especially Cyrus Patterson. I was up in the northeast, well, southwest, to where I'm looking from in Scotland. I was up in the northeast England when he fought Chris Jenkins, and that was another battle that it was just toe to toe against Chris Jenkins. He got the win in that one, and then last night when I was watching it progress the fight, I was like, here we go again, another fight of the year. But I don't think Cyrus can have too many more of them fights if he wants to continue. I think that's only his 7th pro fight, but you know what I mean. That's 2 toe-to-toe battles he's gone in, and that's just a recipe for a short career. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's the way he fights, though. He likes to come in close. He likes to roll inside the pocket. He always wants to stay in the oven, if that makes sense. Joe McNally basically taught me that saying. In the oven, he likes to stay in the oven, so he likes to be there in the pocket, throwing shots and rolling, and I think it's for us watching on TV or in the arena. We're on the edge of our seats. We love it. But for Cyrus, it's one of them ones where it's like you can't take too many. But Conor Walker, I mean, that's a huge scalp. I think he's only had 2 losses on his record, and they've all been, was it a majority decision? And he's been there or thereabouts. So this is a huge scalp for him. What was that? Sorry?
Both decisions, both of his losses.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've been very, very close, and now he's sort of jumped onto the platform of the Zone and Eddie, and he's went in a fight of the year contending Cyrus and got the win. 3 knockdowns and a corner pullout. I mean, who do you match him with, man? Like I say, he's in that welterweight division where it's a decent division to be in, especially domestically. I mean, you've got guys like Conor Benn, if he comes back, Usyk, Michael McKinson, Chris Congo. You've got the Albanian king, Marku.
Florian Marku, yeah.
Yeah, Florian Marku. So you've got all these good fighters. Lewis Crocker, who's training up in Edinburgh now, up in Scotland, sorry. Lewis Crocker from Belfast. He's a great addition to the welterweight division as well. So it's a tasty division with bangers in it and fan-friendly style. So I actually loved that fight. But like I say, well done to Conor. But Cyrus, I think he needs to, as much as I love his style and I want to see another fight like that. I mean, he's only 7 fights in. I think he needs to, I don't know, approach. He just needs to not get to torn into these battles where it's just inside the pocket, in the oven, and just bang, 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 bang. But like I say, we enjoy it, and that's why we love the sport. But for Cyrus, man, that's 2 fights I've seen him in, and it's been toe-to-toe battles inside the pocket, ready to rock. But yeah, what a fight, mate! And you must have been on the edge of your seat watching that.
Oh, I certainly was. I think I was backstage for the first 2 rounds, and you only needed to hear the roar of the crowd to see that you needed to be running out there. I watched it with a few of the Matchroom guys. It was just unbelievable. The crowd were going wild, and just fair play, Conor Walker. As I said before, lovely lad. And I think he said on the Matchroom interview after that he's now got a 2-fight deal with Matchroom.
Yeah,
so it just shows that one little opportunity, if you take that, then it is life-changing. And that is what we do love about boxing. But we will move to the main event, Galal Yafai. I was not expecting that. It was a statement performance, and I think it does show that he is level, if not multiple levels, above domestic, maybe even European. We need to see him in against some world contenders now. And that just shows his credentials as a contender. And Eddie said, Quadras, Rungvisai, they are like the bracket underneath some serious world champions. These aren't just kind of world champions that have been given the belt. In his weight division, it's world champions by merit. Rungvisai, former unified world champion. If we have that fight and he comes through then we've got some serious problems in this flyweight division.
The thing is, about the flyweight division, the good thing, well, not the good thing, but I suppose it is there's not that many of them, okay? Even though it's a talented pool of talent, with the Sonny Edwards and the Jesse Vargas and the Dalakians from the Ukraine and all them guys, and the guys that you just mentioned there, it's not a deep pool of talent. Do you know what I mean? But so maybe his next fight he can get that fringe world level opponent. You know, and I can't see why not, because like I say, that flyweight, super flyweight divisions, there's bangers in there. You've got Sonny Edwards fighting for a unified to unify against Jesse Vargas in December. You've got Roman Gonzalez. I don't know if Estrada's still floating about those weight divisions as well. So it's Felix Alvarado is a dangerous hard hitter as well, who Sonny Edwards has beat before. So it's, I mean, it's, where do you go with him? I suppose you can drop him right in the mix of it right now. And I can't see why not, because he has got the amateur pedigree. His first fight as a pro was a 10-rounder. Do you know what I mean? And he's 5-0 now? 4-0? 5-0?
I think he's 5-0. I think he's
5-0 now. Yeah, I think he's ready for that fringe world level. Maybe one of the old guard that maybe who are like not leaving the spot, but I've been there, said it and done it. Maybe like maybe not a Chocolatito. I don't think a Chocolatito would be a smart move. Definitely not. But do you know them type of fighters that Chocolatito maybe on a wee bit, on a little bit, and already he's there or thereabouts. And I just think that, again, I'm struggling because as long as I know the guys at the top of the flyweight, the super flyweight division, but I don't know who is there or thereabouts that you can put in where people will go, "Oh, that's a fight." Do you know what I mean?
I think Rungvisai. is the perfect one. Because
the Thai boy. He's from Thailand.
He's been in there in wars with Estrada, Chocolatito, and he's probably slightly on the decline now, but he has one thing that Galal doesn't have, and that is paramount of experience in the pro game. Former world champion, and at one point was in a contention for the pound-for-pound list. So he knows he's been in there, but he probably isn't at the best of his game anymore. So that's a really good measuring stick, and I'd love to see that fight happen if I had the choice.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there, Joe, to be honest. I seen Rungvisai against Roman Gonzalez at Madison Square Garden in 2017. And that's when he beat Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito. And everyone was shocked by it, including me. That was actually one of my first jobs for IFL in 2017, believe it or not. So I think that's a very good shout, to be honest with you. And I think Galal will come through that. But I just think that especially being a southpaw down at that weight, and he can clearly bang down at that weight. So, and that just adds it too. If he can go on and beat that fringe world level, Sonny Edwards is there. I mean, we all like a British dust-up, whether it be for a British title, whether it be for a Southern area or a world title. We just love two Brits going at it because it just breeds fireworks. I just like it. I just love it. And I think, who knows in the future? I know Sonny Edwards is way up there now. He's superstardom, fighting the best, and Galal's still got to climb his way up, but he does have that amateur pedigree to fall back on and to maybe propel him a little bit quicker than most. So yeah, Galal Yafai is definitely one to watch, and I think he's definitely a future world champion in the making. He's definitely going to be
100%. And it was only in, I think, about 2018, 2019, we were speaking about Cal Yafai versus Charlie Edwards, and that fight never happened. Last night, when speaking to Galal, when speaking to Eddie, I think everyone knows that that's a potential super fight, and it's very rare we get an all-British super fight in those lighter divisions. So it has to be made if they both get world titles. If Sonny comes through that BAM fight, even if he doesn't come through that BAM fight, he's still going to have a very, very high stock, and that will be a really good fight. I don't know if you saw it or heard about it. There was a little bit of a scuffle or something that happened in the crowd last night with Galal's friends or family. No one quite knows what happened, but yeah, I weren't there for that. I've just heard, I think a phone was smashed or something. So there is a little bit of needle there, but hopefully we will go on.
Between who? Sorry, a needle between.
No one quite knows. From what we was all trying to figure it out, but I think it was Galal's friends, and apparently it was over a bet. I have no idea.
All right, okay. I'll need to try and look on Twitter for that one then.
Yes, have a look, mate, because we were none the wiser. We were all very confused last night. We were asking about, but we do need to get to the bottom of that one. But we shall move on to Friday.
Friday night.
And Ina Baluta, what another fight. A fantastic fight.
Listen, but people forget, Dennis McCann's only 22 years old. 22 years old. He's still learning.
Coming of age fight, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely coming. Fighters need to go for that adversity. You need to go for the cut. You see, because if you go plain sailing, you need to see how a fighter reacts to these cuts and things not going their way, the knockdowns, and see if they can pick themselves up, the corner work and whatnot. So that was definitely a coming of age fight against Baluta, who, by the way, has took some scalps Do you know what I mean? He beat Andrew Kane in his last fight. I was at the McConlin. He got majority. He lost a majority decision to McConlin a little while ago. I was at when he beat TJ Duheny in Dubai, who was a former world champion, IBF world champion TJ. David Oliver Joyce he's beat. He got beat by Liam Davis by decision. So, do you know what I mean?
He beat Brad Foster as well.
Yes, he beat Brad Foster as well. Yeah, and do you know what I mean? And Dennis is only 22 years of age, and we've got to remember that. And like I say, Baluta's been there, done it. He's took a few scalps. He's fought world champions and beat them. And TJ Duheny, he's beat guys that fought for world titles and elite amateurs. And Mick Conlon, not beat Mick Conlon, but he's gave Mick Conlon a great fight and hit that out one. So well done to Dennis McCann. I mean, it was a technical draw, which somebody said to me that the last round was it the 8th round, I think it was. The last round of the 8th
or 9th,
or the 9th was a 10-10. Two judges scored at a 10-10, which I thought you could have gave it to Baluta. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that was his. He won that last round, and then they done the count back, and it was a draw. But if they had gave it to Baluta that last round, then obviously he would have won the fight. But listen, technical draw is it was, and I think Dennis would I want to see the rematch? Probably. I think Dennis will probably want to do it again and go for that again because, like I say, Baluta's only lost against elite guys on very, very, very good fighters, and so fair play to Dennis McCann, 22 years old and taking on a guy like that.
Yeah, look, Dennis is one that you're going to struggle to hold back. His toughest fight to date was probably Joe Ham. Big step up in iron at Baluta. And he's shown more than anything that he's got the minerals to step in with some heavy hitters, come for adversity. He didn't get the win, but I think in a rematch he'll learn from that. Yep. And I think he'll make the right adaptations with Al Smith in that gym. They all work very hard. They're fantastic tacticians. And that's probably what he needed. A little bit of an eye-opener. Yeah. Just to see, this is the pro game. Because it's kind of gone all his own way up to now. So hopefully this can benefit him and we get to see a much, much better Dennis McCann. And Dennis McCann was already a fantastic prospect. So I'm very excited by the prospect of seeing a new Dennis McCann whenever that face is healed up, because his face was covered in blood.
And that's what I'm saying. For a 22-year-old who was only 14, 15 fights in his pro career to go through that adversity and still want to fight on and still want to throw punches with a guy as dangerous as Baluta, man, that just going to stand him in good stead going forward, because he's still got maybe 10, 12 years left of this career to go, all going well. So, I think he's a talented fighter, an exciting fighter to watch, and I'm buzzing for him. But I'm going to do a big, massive segue to one of my countrymen, a fighter that I'm very, very excited about, who's flying under the radar. Probably doesn't, like I say, I'm going to say it, we don't get much coverage up here as jocks, but hey, it is what it is. But we've got some good fighters up here. Nathaniel Collins.
Yes.
He's in the featherweight division right now, which is my favorite division. I absolutely love the featherweight division. I love everyone in it. They're playing hot potato with these world titles. There's been so many, I think 4 WBC champions, 4 WBA, 3 IBF champions in the last 18 months or whatever it is. I've seen something like that on Instagram. So they're fighting each other. And we've got Josh Warrington and Lee Wood to look forward to as well. You've got absolutely fantastic fighters up and down the division, and Nathaniel Collins is there or thereabouts. I'm telling you right now, he's British Commonwealth champion. All right, he can bang. He's proven that in his last 4 or 5 fights, but the Jacob Robertson fight, he's got knockout power, body and head. He stopped James Beach to the body. He stopped Raza Hamza. I think it was coming over with a right hook in the very first round. He's southpaw. He's exciting. And like I say, he's compact. He's a solid little fighter, man. He lives in the gym, lives the life, and he's one to watch out for in this featherweight division. I mean, like I say, that you've got Brandon Figueroa, you've got Lee Wood, you've got Josh Warrington, you've got Lopez, Vargas, Lara, Mark Magsayo. You've got loads of fighters in that division at world level. I'm not saying Nathaniel's there yet, but he'll get there.
Yeah, and I will be completely honest. Before the James Beach Jr. fight, I think it was, which was before the Raza Hamza fight, I hadn't really heard of Nathaniel Collins. I'd heard the name, but I wasn't very familiar, and I've been extremely impressed by him. And he certainly made a statement performance now with Queensberry. And I think the fight to make, in my opinion, is one that could be done easily in-house and kind of can be an eliminator to that world scene, is the Nick Ball fight, I think. And I think Star Wars it'd be very interesting, the small guy versus the tall guy.
But that's the thing. Nick Ball's tiny, but Nathaniel's not that. He's taller than Nick Ball, obviously, but they're both solid. Do you know what I mean? They're both little card cases. What's that?
Yeah. Little pit bulls, mate.
Little pit bulls. That's a great. Yeah, they're just little, strong, broad shoulders, strong back, and both of them can whack. Both of them pack a punch, and you've got the orthodox against the southpaw, so the backhand's going to be there for the pair of them. They both like to come forward, although I know that Nathaniel can box off the back foot, and I've yet to see Nick Ball box off the back foot. He probably, his style is come forward, I'm going to eat you up type of style, but he's also a boxer as well, so I can imagine with the gym that he's in down in Liverpool, I'm sure he can box off the back foot as well. So that is a fight. I'm sure as well that fight was made or was talked about last year. They were talking about that fight because who doesn't want to be a British champion and a Commonwealth champion? Nathaniel's got both of those belts. Unless you're at that world level, unless you're Lee Wood and Josh Warrington, you're going to want, those are the two belts that you want if you're a British fighter. So, like you say, both in-house, both Frank Warren, makes total sense to me. And excuse me, I've just drunk a cup of tea and it's too hot. It's been down the wrong hole. So I'm burping here. I'm buzzing for Nathaniel Collins. He's definitely one to look out for. And he's exciting. He's not scared to get stuck in as well. So remember the name Nathaniel Collins. He's in a division, which is my favourite division right now, in a featherweight division. So it's going to be an exciting time watching him develop.
It certainly is, mate. And hopefully we get to see a bit of activity from him. And now he's got the platform, I think more people will start to take notice of him, especially if he keeps performing like he did against Raza Hamza on Friday night.
Well, listen, let's do another hard segue, because next week I want to talk about it, because we will talk about after the fight, but let's preview it. Alexander Usyk defends 4 of his world titles: IBF, IBO, WBA, and WBO. I'm hoping I've got that right. Against Daniel Dubois in Poland. A lot of people probably look at this fight and not giving Daniel a chance to beat him, but let's not forget. Okay, Daniel Dubois 19-1, and I think he's knocked out 17-18 of those wins. So, listen, if Daniel lands clean, and I'm saying you've got to catch though, Usyk, you've got to catch him, right? But if the power that Daniel Dubois has, he's got a chance. I'm not saying it's a big chance, all right, because I'm probably on that boat now where Usyk's just that he's a heavyweight he's got that lateral movement. A lot of heavyweights don't have this lateral movement, and he can stay on his feet for the whole 12 rounds as a heavyweight as well. So it's going to be hard to catch Usyk, but like I say, he's got that puncher's chance, especially in that heavyweight division.
Look, on Tuesday, I went to see Daniel Dubois and his media workout, and you don't usually take much from these media workouts, but I think this is the most impressed I've ever been by a workout. What he was doing with Don Charles, he was like getting really in close and rough. It was very strange. I've never seen it, certainly in a media workout before, or what we see on Fight Week and what you would be showing to the media. And I did say to Daniel, is that a little taste of what we're expecting? He was like, certainly. Don has taught me in the small amount of time they've been working together for about 16 weeks now. Don's taught him the tricks of the trade, how to quickly stick a little elbow in, just to be a bit dirty, because he's going to need to be a bit dirty. He's going to need to put Alexander Usyk into an uncomfortable situation, which is going to force him to make a mistake where Daniel Dubois can land that huge punch we know he has. Definitely. That's the only way he's going to win. Yeah. And from what I saw on Tuesday, it looks like he knows that. He's very relaxed. He's in a very good space, I believe, Daniel Dubois. So I'm very, very intrigued by this fight on Saturday night. And the atmosphere, by the way, is going to be absolutely amazing. In Poland, I think there's going to be about 40,000 Ukrainians there. With everything that's going on in the world, Usyk's like a national hero. And not only that, we've got Hamza Shiraz is going up against an unbeaten Ukrainian Olympian. So it's a big night. It's a really big night for British boxing. It's a big night for Ukrainian boxing. And most importantly, it's another piece on the huge heavyweight chessboard being moved on Saturday night.
I think if you're looking ahead, if you're a boxing fan looking ahead to Saudi, January, and all the mega fights that they're talking about, you're probably sitting there thinking Usyk needs to win. He needs to win to keep alive the Tyson Fury fight, the fight that we want to see. But listen, Daniel can put a spanner in the works here, and he could be the one on that plane to Saudi Arabia for that mega money.
Probably easier to make as well.
Exactly. It will be a lot easier to make, as you well know, because Frank Warren and Tyson. So, I mean, they keep it in-house in that sense. But the thing what Usyk's got, right, Daniel Dubois fought that, was it Kevin Lerena? Went down twice in the first round, southpaw. Not a big heavyweight, Lerena. He's not massive. Usyk has shown that he can wobble big heavyweights. Joshua, I think he wobbled them in the first round when he came over well left, sort of like a looping left hand. I think with the way that Usyk is going to approach this fight is obviously his jab to the body, looping left hand over the top. But I think if anyone's gave you a blueprint, so to speak, was Joshua in the 9th round in the second fight.
Yeah,
it's just sit on his chest. If you have him against the ropes, lean on him, smother him, just hit his arms, hit his elbows, hit his rib cage, hit his whatever you can. Just hit everything. But be smart about it, obviously, because Usyk has just got his boxing IQ second to none. And I don't think he'll stay in the ropes too long. But once you do have him there, it's time to go to work and try and take his legs away from him. Because if you can take his legs away, because 12 rounds is a long time, especially if you're 18 stone trying to bounce around the ring for 12 rounds, it's difficult. So if Daniel can take his legs away, keep peppering at that body. If you do manage to get him against the ropes, go to work, right, and zap his energy. And I think that's the best way to beat Usyk. But it's Usyk. Come on, his boxing IQ is just phenomenal. And I'm saying take his legs away, but I mean, that man is super fit. He can probably do 24 rounds. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be a tough ask for Daniel. But like I say, if we've seen anything, Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, Andrew Ruiz, Anthony Joshua more recently, we've seen these upsets happen where people have not, these heavyweight guys who have came in and they've been given no chance. And then they've just had that puncher's chance because they're big men. There's 18, 19 stone behind one of their punches. So every heavyweight's got a chance. And as small as a chance it may be for Daniel, he still has it.
Yeah, and I think we all need to get behind him as well, because it's a Brit going abroad to try and win those world titles. And Don Charles made a very good point in the week. He said that the last 2 times those 3 belts have been taken away have been on enemy territory, if you like, because Tyson Fury, all 3 of them belts went to Germany. Usyk, all 3 of them belts come over to London. Things come in free. Things do come in free. So we may get Daniel Dubois. I'd love it to happen just from the British biased in me. But yeah, let's get behind Daniel Dubois, TNT Sports, box office. And maybe, just maybe, we could see a new unified world champion from the UK.
Yes, well, quickly before I let you go, Joe, because I know you got the West Ham game and Celtic have just kicked off as well, so I want to go and watch them. I don't know if you've seen the Joe Rogan podcast, but Terence Crawford was on there, and he basically admitted on the Joe Rogan podcast that he's willing to go up to 168 to face Canelo. And he sort of said, can you imagine it? A guy stepping up 3 weight divisions to become a 3-time undisputed champion against somebody like Canelo. I mean, can you imagine that, mate? I mean, what a fight that would be, because I've been around Canelo. I've interviewed Canelo and I've interviewed Terence Crawford. Now, they're the same height, or Terence Crawford might just be a little bit taller. I mean, Canelo's got the big back and the shoulders, and he's got thicker legs, obviously. He fills into 168 quite nicely. I don't know how Terence Crawford can get there, but yeah, how mouth-watering is that, Joe?
It's mouth-watering, but unrealistic, I think. To be honest, I'm going to be very honest. I can't see that happening. It's kind of too much of a risk for Canelo now to take that fight. I think he can't get beaten by 147-pounder, can he? And in his mind. So I'd love it to happen. Don't get me wrong, I would love it to happen. I think Terence Crawford would love it to happen because you talk about legacy-defining fights, and if the Errol Spence weren't that already, Canelo certainly would be. But I'd just love to see Terence Crawford stay on the path and try and become a freeweight undisputed champion. I know he could do that, but let's keep it in order. Let's keep it in order and just stick to 154. And then maybe one day we could think about it.
Well, listen, if Charlo wins, we know the beef that they two have. We're just assuming that Canelo's going to win this fight. If Charlo wins at 168,
well, Charlo wins, different story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If Charlo wins, it's a different story. But like you say, Canelo's, I'm sure where he is right now, he's on that sort of trajectory now where his career's mapped out. You know what I mean? There's a bit of this fight. He's going to fight guy. He wants the Bivol rematch. He probably wants to go up to light heavyweight and become undisputed up there as well, which is probably unheard of. But fair play to him and Crawford, because Canelo and Crawford they're the same sort of, they're cut from the same cloth. They're willing to step up multiple weight divisions to fight the champions and give up pounds and whatnot. But fair play to them. But yeah. Joe, next week we're gonna obviously talk about the winner of Usyk and Daniel Dubois. So
yes,
that's an exciting fight in the heavyweight division. We all love a heavyweight fight, but like I said, you've got to put some water on your face, splash some cold water on your face, brush that hair, and you're gonna go back into London to watch the Hammers, mate. So
straight back into London. West Ham, Chelsea, tough ask today, but hopefully first game back at the London Stadium. I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Listen, enjoy it, mate, and listen, I'll catch up with you next week.
Certainly. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure they like, share, and subscribe. TalkSport with Pugh and McCart, mate.
Here you go. Cheers, Joe. Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
To not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,